This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised as some cases contain graphic content. We mean no disrespect to anyone we discuss in this podcast except our exes. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. However, we will be expressing our personal opinions. Buckle up, Buttercup.
Hey everybody, it's Cynthia.
And I'm Wes, and this is Love and Luminol, a true crime podcast.
And sorry we slacked last week, but stuff's happening.
Well, we were celebrating our anniversary. We were doing some early birthday stuff for you. And then we went to wrestling. We did a bunch of different stuff. We went to a Pink concert. We did a lot of things.
We did, so we were busy.
Yeah. But we're back.
We are back and at it. And today we're going more local.
More local.
Yeah, closer. It is in Indiana.
Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So you get some local crime here. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
Here we go.
Alrighty. Well, I hate this name, but we're going to talk about Roy Lee Ward. I know.
You always say you hate that name. But there's a good aspect to that name as well.
Yes, there is. Yes.
So, just to throw this out there, she had an abusive ex by that name.
Yes.
But that's also the name of my dad, who died recently. So,
it's a controversy.
so she has a reason not to like that name, but
And
my dad gave her a reason to kind of be a little bit more okay with that name.
yes, to like the name, so I'm conflicted.
Plus, one of my children share that name for a middle name, so.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yep.
But, you're like, yeah. But that's fine. So we're going to talk about Mr. Roy today, and it is in Dale, Indiana, Spencer County. Have you heard of that? I don't know where that is.
It sounds familiar, but I don't know exactly where it is.
Spencer County sounds familiar.
The county is what caught me.
Dale, I'm like, I don't know. But Mr. Ward was born July 20th of 1972.
Okay.
Here's a picture of him, and my program kind of made his one eye looked a little demonic, but
Okay.
he has two normal eyes.
So
for some reason, it didn't like that
ignore
one.
the messed up eye.
Yeah, ignore the messed up eye. Cover it up with your hand if you want to, and look at it. That's Mr. Ward.
All right.
And he grew up in a dysfunctional family. His parents were divorced, so it was kind of a rocky from the start kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Roy was diagnosed with mental retardation, low intelligence, mental illness, and instability. I was wondering how they got mental. I figured mental retardation and low intelligence kind of came one in one.
No.
No,
So,
there's something different.
I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint, but from my understanding, because I don't even think they use the term anymore.
Yeah.
But mental retardation usually just meant slower processing.
Oh.
But and again, they don't even use it anymore because it connects to a lot of different other avenues of the reason why that happens. So some people, I mean, it can go into autism. It can go in a lot of different directions.
It's like this.
So, but they don't use it anymore because it's kind of a derogatory term.
Yeah.
And they've figured out that there's really no such thing. There's so many different areas,
Different kinds of
that you can go with that.
Because I haven't heard that and low intelligence used at the same time.
Because there are plenty of people who fall into those different spectrums who are very intelligent. So, yeah. So that's why they're not the same thing.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
But July 11th, 2001, that's when our case is going to happen.
What was the year again?
2001.
2001.
Yes. And Stacy Payne, that's our victim. She's born February 24th, and she was 15 years old. I know, teenager. But that's her right there.
Okay.
It's Miss Stacy. Her and she had a sister, a little sister, by just a little bit. Melissa Payne, she was 14 years old. But her and Melissa, Stacy and Melissa, were home alone one day.
Okay.
Her mom, Julia Payne, went to work. I don't know what she did exactly, but she's like, I gotta go to work. And they're teenagers, 15, 14. She's like, you guys just get up, get ready yourselves, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But Melissa was taking a nap upstairs, and Stacy was waiting to leave for work. So Stacy worked somewhere at the time. She's getting ready to leave for work.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, her mom already left for work. I don't know if her dad was there. I said other family members. So I'm not sure if that includes the dad or whoever else lived there, but they were all to work.
Okay.
Stacy's getting ready to go work. Melissa's taking a nap. Then there was a knock on the door.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't answer the door, kids.
Don't answer the door. And Stacy answered it to see who it was. And it was Roy, claiming that he was searching for a lost dog.
Okay.
So he said he's looking for his dog. And he
This
convinced
sounds familiar.
Stacy. Does it sound familiar to you? It
Yeah.
might sound more familiar as we move on.
Okay.
But he convinced Stacy to let him in to the home. I don't know how, if it was for the phone or the bathroom or what he needed to where he needed to come in. I don't know if it was raining. I don't know. But somehow he got her to let him in.
Okay.
For whatever reason. And then Melissa was woken up by Stacy's screams. Yeah. And she got up and went running toward the stairs. She's on the second floor. And when she got to the top of the stairs, she saw Roy on top of Stacy. And she called 911.
Okay.
She claimed she heard Stacy pleading with him to, quote, stop. And then he replied, quote, you better be quiet.
Okay.
So, yeah. Police arrived on the scene fairly quickly. So this was pretty straightforward. Like,
Yeah.
there ain't no guessing who did it.
No, he's there and the cops are there at the same time. So
He's there. But they found him covered in blood and holding a pocket knife.
what the hell?
Yeah,
They didn't get there quick enough.
they didn't. He was covered in sweat. The officer drew his gun and told Roy to get on the ground. He complied and said, quote, I didn't do anything. But
I'm covered in blood. I'm
knife.
holding a knife. There's a, most likely from the way this is going, there's a dead little girl in the couch or something
On the
inside.
floor.
But he didn't do nothing. Who did
No.
it? Was it? It was the sister upstairs,
There's
wasn't
a
it?
sister upstairs. I don't know how he's going to talk this one off, but the officer went into the kitchen where he found Stacy on the floor. She was nude from the waist down. But this is where, trigger warning, gets a little rough. But with that pocket knife, Stacy's torso was nearly sliced in two.
Oh.
The officer could see her intestines coming out.
Oh my God.
So with this little pocket knife, he did some damage. Her throat was cut to her windpipe. And her wrist was slashed to the bone.
What the hell?
So it was savage. Savage attack. And to top it all off, she was conscious when the officer got there.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, she was still alive. But she couldn't speak because her throat was slit. Her wrist was slit. The wrist slitting, I'm surprised she's still conscious and
She probably was fading.
to the bone. I was going to say it was cut to the bone. I'm surprised. It must have just happened because if she was still conscious, it would,
Yeah.
Whew. She was taken to the emergency room at Deaconess St. Joseph Hospital.
That sounds familiar too.
Because that's, Deaconess was in Evansville, we saw.
Oh,
We went to
yeah.
Wesley. So it's got to be around there somewhere.
Huh.
Hi,
Okay.
Nala. She's like, company. So they took her to the emergency room. The doctor, when doing an examination, also found a deep laceration on her back that severed her spine. So even got her in the back somehow.
Wow.
And this small hospital was not set up to deal with this kind of situation. They're like, good Lord, we don't know what to do. So they sent her to a nearby hospital that handled similar trauma cases. Like, they're better equipped for her care, so they rushed her there. The doctors tried to save her life at no avail. So she passed. Oh, but this is interesting to know, because it kind of gives a hint at what hospital she was sent to. But it says, since Stacy passed away at a Louisville hospital.
Oh, okay.
So it had to be U of L, maybe? Norton's? I figure U of L, probably.
Maybe.
They're the big trauma hospital down there, I think.
Yeah.
But she was passed away at a Louisville hospital, so her autopsy was performed by a Kentucky deputy state medical examiner, and her name was Donna Hunsaker. Close.
What town in Indiana did you say this was again?
Dale.
Dale. D-A-L-E?
Yep. Because if that's in Evansville, that's a hike for Louisville.
It's only an hour.
Oh.
So, I mean, from the map.
Oh, yeah, it's just a straight line. It's just straight over.
Yeah, it's just straight over into Indiana, but on the side, not the north.
Mm.
That's weird. Oh, it's over by Santa Claus.
Holiday World. Wow.
That's why. Yeah, okay.
Deaconess, yeah.
That's why. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so they took her straight to Louisville. But as the medical examiner drew diagrams and showed pictures of the various injuries Stacy received, there was a large cut from, and would explain what the officer saw, the intestines and stuff in the back, because the cut was one large cut from the abdomen along her side to her back. So it was like cutting her in half. And it almost did cut her in half. Like, it was almost through her.
Wow.
Complete side. There was vaginal bruising, and Stacy's DNA on Roy's penis led to rape and criminal deviant conduct charges.
But he didn't do nothing.
But he said he didn't do nothing. Well, you know, Roy was on probation for a burglary in Missouri at the time of the murder and had a dozen prior convictions for public indecency and indecent exposure. So he has a history. Of course, they arrested him the same day. That's a picture of him taken into the jail, cleaned up, of course.
Yeah.
But that's him as he got arrested. He had court in Spencer County, so back over in that area, Dale. And the judge that handled the case was Judge Rain Royal, R-O-E-L-L. Royal. And the prosecutor was John A. Dart and Jack Robinson. And for his defense, Roy had Barbara Williams and Scott Blasey.
Okay.
None of those sound familiar to me.
No.
Indiana State Police Detective Randy Cuttrell was the lead investigator in the case.
Okay.
Yes, and he was quoted saying, quote, "If there ever was a case for the death penalty, this is it. I have never seen such a brutal crime in my 24 years as a detective." Yeah. I mean, considering she's still conscious when they got there is pretty horrific. Like, ugh. But didn't take him long to find him guilty.
I would say so.
I would say, pretty cut and dry. But his lawyers argued that it was not a fair case due to the publicity in Spencer County. They're like, everybody...
Wasn't a fair case. I mean, we caught him in the act,
right.
But...
I guess they're saying that he was thought to be guilty before ever, like the public, all the publicity people just counted him guilty, so it wasn't a fair trial.
I
don't know. But December 18th of 2001... But I've also heard 2002, so I'm not sure which year. It's either 01 or 02. He was sentenced to death.
Okay.
So they're like, yeah, we're still moving forward with this. Sorry about you. But the Indiana Supreme Court ruled Roy's trial should have been at a venue out of Spencer County, or the jurors should have been brought in.
Okay.
So they're kind of following it. They felt he wouldn't get a fair trial due to the pre-trial publicity. So they're kind of questioning his trial and his ruling.
Oh,
and of course,
boy.
Stacy's family is very disappointed.
I would
not
imagine.
only the Supreme Court decision, but the legal system in general. They're like, you caught him in the act.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where we try him at. Melissa and Stacy's aunt, Diane Likenus? We don't know. I'm horrible. Sorry.
Yeah. And they probably don't appreciate you saying their name is Lick on Us.
Litkenhus. Litkenhus? Oh.
Okay.
Sorry. But she's worried about Melissa and how she was handling the trial issues.
Okay.
Because remember, she was the younger sister. And Diane said, quote, for a 15-year-old to see the judicial system working like this and to feel the devastation of Wednesday and saying I went through this once and I have to do it again. Can I do it again? It's hard. And can the family do it again? I don't know. So they're trying to say, if we have to go through this whole trial again, it's heartbreaking for them. But in a unanimous decision, this Indiana Supreme Court ruled that Roy's trial should not have taken place in Spencer County. They stated that half of the 12 jurors said before the trial that they believed Roy was guilty. So before it even started, half of them said we believe he's guilty.
These fuckers.
What was he doing, painting the house? I'm like, what? I'm sure the dog probably thought he was guilty. Like, he was there. They caught him mid-act. Yeah. But he was awarded a new trial in 2007. So 6 years after this horrible crime occurred.
Jeez.
And there's a picture of him. His hair grew out.
Was he waiting in jail this whole time, or?
Yes, I believe so.
Wow. They waited that long and just kept him in there, huh?
I think so. I haven't heard
What
that
sucks
he's
is
out.
if he's ever found guilty, all that time waiting counts towards the sentence.
Yeah. But if he's found not guilty, it's a lot of time he didn't technically have to do.
True.
So I'm not sure if they let him out or what they did with him.
He could have posted bail for all we know.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but a jury was brought in from Clay County for a second trial.
Clay County.
Yes, so I don't know where that is, but
I want to say
sounds familiar.
Near Indianapolis.
Up north. I figured it was a decent hike from Spencer County since they were worried about the publicity.
Let's see. Clay County.
He's Google check.
Oh, maybe it's Clay County, Kentucky?
Oh, possible.
Because there is a Clay County in Kentucky, too.
There is.
But if it's Indiana, Clay County, Indiana would be like Brazil.
So by Terre Haute area?
Near Terre Haute area, but not all the way over there because Terre Haute is
Past
Vigo
Brazil.
County.
Yeah.
So, but Clay County, Kentucky. Clay County, Kentucky would encompass Manchester and Oneida. I don't even know where that is.
I don't.
Let's see. Zoom out.
It's way in the middle of Kentucky, probably.
Oh, it's well, trying to find my bearings here. It's southeast of Louisville. So it's out going towards Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It's like way out there.
So I don't know if since she passed away in Louisville, if they chose jurors from Kentucky or if they just kept it all in Indiana.
If it's Indiana, it's people up near Terre Haute. If
possible.
it's Kentucky, it's people almost to Gatlinburg,
I don't
Tennessee.
know how far they wanted to, get away from the publicity to make sure.
Either way, they got a distance.
Yeah.
Those are a few hours away in any direction.
Regardless. But Roy already pleaded guilty to rape and murder, so the jury was not deciding his guilt; they were deciding his punishment.
Oh.
So they might have kept him in that aspect because he's already pled guilty. So I'm sure he still
pled
in jail.
guilty?
Yeah, he pled guilty, but the jury was just for his punishment. So I don't.
So
know
what was
this
the big
whole
deal
hype.
about the trial then? If he pled guilty, all they're doing is his punishment. Who cares if they thought he was guilty beforehand? He said he was guilty. Mm-hmm. How is it not? He didn't even
trying
get
to dodge the death penalty, maybe.
Oh Lord. I mean, fair trial. There is no trial. He's pled guilty.
Yeah, they're just going over the case in front of a new jury for them to decide
What his punishment
based
should
on
be.
his
This is
crime.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. To put
They
the family
waited
through this.
6 years after the crime and put this off like this simply because, and it wasn't even the trial. He said, I did it.
Brought 12 new people in to look at all these gruesome.
Just to figure out what his punishment would be.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
That's a waste of time.
Please tell me they found death too.
But 3 men and 9 women spent an entire week listening to the gruesome details. And, like we assumed, the defense asked them to spare Roy's life, stating that he was born that way and couldn't help his lack of empathy.
Oh my God.
But Barbara stated, quote, that's his attorney, I believe, I know that he's very sorry for what happened. We had a lot of time to talk with Roy and let him know ahead of time what was going to be presented. So I don't think the fact that someone feels he didn't show emotion is any indication of how he actually feels, end quote. She's he was prepared, so his lack of emotion doesn't mean shit. But
we talked it over, so it's not surprising he wasn't emotional in court. I mean...
God. But the prosecutor reminded the jury of Stacy's final moments because she was still alive when the cops got there. An attack that lasted 10 minutes where she was beaten, raped, and butchered, but remained conscious, crying, and unable to speak because her throat was slashed. So they're like, this is what she went through.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's a picture they had of her at the court. They showed a picture of Stacy in that state. So in the state she was found. That brought 3 female jurors to tears.
I'll bet.
So the prosecutor's like, we ain't messing around. We're making an impression.
You're going to take a look at what he did.
Yeah, you're going to think about this girl.
Here's a picture.
Alive, yeah.
Of her.
In this state.
Jesus.
So it took, on June 8th, 2007, it took the jury 45 minutes to come back with a sentence.
Please tell me it's death. Or life.
The judge called him, quote, the worst of the worst. So I don't know if they had the same judge. If they did, the judge is like, my God, I can't.
This is the second time I'm hearing this shit. It is horrible.
Disgusting stuff, yeah. But he was then scheduled for execution in 2013.
They gave him death again.
Yep, they gave him the death penalty.
So they just wasted time is all they did.
But he received a stay. Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
Because in 2014, there was a national shortage of one of the drugs used in the lethal injection cocktail.
We got other options.
Yeah. So, Indiana decided to use a different drug.
Okay.
So they're like, this drug's out. We can't get it, but this drug does the same thing. We're going to use it.
Yeah.
But Roy challenged the court. He challenged it. He said, that ain't going to work for me.
I don't like that drug. That's going to kill me.
Indiana's highest court said the state cannot use a new cocktail until the Department of Correction changes its execution protocol. So he's like, it's not in the protocol. It's not listed anywhere. It's not how it's done.
You're going to die regardless. What does it matter?
It's not in the procedure. You got to put it in there. But the Supreme Court ruled against him.
Thank God.
Yeah, they're like, we ain't doing this again. In a unanimous decision written by Justice Christopher Goff, the court held that the Department of Corrections lethal injection procedures do not constitute rules and are exempt from the rulemaking restrictions of the ARPA.
Thank you.
Since the department's lethal injection protocol does not require Ward to alter his conduct in any way, it does not have the effect of law.
There you go.
Yep, they're saying it does the same thing.
It does the same thing either way. And on top of that, these are just in-house procedures. It really has nothing. It's not law.
Yeah.
That's like you're at work and they say you have to put the papers in this order. If you don't, it's not like the Supreme Court can act.
Yeah.
It's 2 separate things. Like,
yeah,
that's their own little rules. It's not law.
Like Papa John's changing their sauce recipe. Like, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Go take them to court? Like, it's not law that they have to keep that recipe.
Yeah. But the Spencer County prosecuting attorney Dan Wilkinson was tickled to death with the ruling. He stated, quote, "There is a bitter irony in Roy Ward arguing against the method to be used in his execution. Having been involved in the first trial and serving as co-counsel in the retrial, I will never be able to forget the horrific images of what he did to Stacy Payne, nor the innocent life he so coldly and brutally took away from her in July 2001. During the second trial, Ward's own psychological expert testified that he was a psychopath, incapable of feeling empathy or remorse.
Yeah.
I am pleased that this particular hurdle to the imposition of Ward's sentence has now been removed. Having exhausted all of the normal appeals, my understanding is that the Department of Correction will proceed developing their new lethal injection protocol, at which time the Indiana Supreme Court will set Ward's execution date. If there is only one case or one defendant where the death penalty is called for, this is the case."
There you go.
Yeah, so he's like, they're changing it.
I don't like that they called him a psychopath incapable of empathy, because I was worried suddenly they were going to, oh, mental illness.
Yeah, you thought they were going to pull that card?
Yeah. I'm glad
they're going to pull because
you don't bring that up.
He was diagnosed with low intelligence and all the other stuff.
But you don't bring in a mental illness and say, because they're going to use that against you.
Yeah, so I don't. And they never brought it up. But he decided to sue Indiana again.
Oh, here we go.
Yep. So even though the prosecutor said he exhausted all of his attempts at appeal, he's like, not yet.
He's still got a lawsuit and he can pull out.
Yep. He sued, saying the death penalty violates Indiana's constitution.
Okay.
Why, I don't know. It asked for a permanent injunction to stop Indiana from carrying out any executions.
I want to know which part of Indiana Constitution it violates.
Yeah, was it like a mental health thing?
The only thing I can think of is if they have the same clause that the United States Constitution, the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, the life part. But you can't, liberty, it means freedom, so technically everybody in prison could make that argument. Like, it doesn't...
I didn't know if there's something that says, like, you can't, because somewhere you can't execute the mental ill or something.
Maybe, but he did. That's what I brought up earlier. Yeah. I hope they didn't bring up mental illness. But there's some places where you can. Like, it's like they'd rather. Yeah. Like Texas.
Texas.
They're like, mental illness, put that guy in the chair. You mentioned mental retardation. If that back in the day, if they heard that, they're like, oh, that guy's getting executed.
Yeah, they don't even have to hear what he did.
He didn't do nothing.
Stole a Prius.
He didn't do nothing. He was going to school, and they said, you know what? He might have mental retardation. Suddenly, they're like, strap him in. What do you do? Nothing.
Texas, don't mess
it's
around
Texas.
with Texas.
We don't want them people in Texas.
But because he challenged the state, it put a pause on scheduled executions.
Yeah, because there's an existing court case happening. So they pause everything else.
In 2019, there were 12 people on death row. The last person to be put to death in Indiana was Eric Wrinkles in 2009. He is the 94th person executed according to the records going back to 1897. Damn. So he didn't kill a whole lot of people. But Indiana became a state in 1816.
Wow.
And hanging was the state's first form of punishment.
Yep.
I would assume,
Indiana.
Yep.
Home of the hangings.
It lasted until 1907.
God.
Yep. And then electrocution was used until 1994. What a shocker. No pun intended. I was like, that's a shocker. And then I guess it's lethal injection. But as far as this case goes, from what I can find, he has never been executed yet. And is still on death row.
What year is it again? Jesus.
2009 is the last time we got a count on. The last time someone's been executed was 2009. So they ain't killed nobody. So I assume he's still living on death row.
Wow.
Awaiting, I don't know what he's waiting on.
Is he still pushing out lawsuits left and
Probably.
right, keeping it going? Because you can do
it.
that indefinitely. You can
He might
file
be.
a lawsuit for anything.
Talk about low intelligence. He knows. He knows he's pushing it out.
Either that or he's got some good lawyers.
Barbara.
I want to know how he's paying these lawyers to just keep
Right?
doing this
Are they
over and
public
over and over again.
defenders?
No, public defenders don't do lawsuits.
I don't know. How is he paying?
Public defenders are only criminal cases. So if he was doing public defender, he would have exhausted that as soon as he was found guilty and they were charging him and, putting
Then I
him
don't
to
know
death.
who's sporting his
Whoever,
counsel.
yeah.
Because it says his parents were divorced, and that's about all I heard about his parents being around him. So I don't know who's.
I don't know. Somebody's paying these lawyer
Someone's
fees.
supporting him. Yeah.
My God.
But horrible. They need to just push through with it.
Unless he's not got low intelligence and he's putting these cases out himself.
Crap.
He's reading in jail.
He's reading. IQ went up a lot. That's what, didn't Ted Bundy do that? No. Yeah, he was his own counsel.
Yeah.
He could be. But anyway, horrible crime.
Yeah.
That poor, poor girl. Couldn't imagine. It was almost like that one case we did when she's still alive and survived through it.
Yeah.
Her neck was
her neck
rolled
was
back.
Yeah.
I don't
Back
know how
of her
people
head.
survive
Back
that.
of her head was touching her back.
shoulders. Yeah. How do they survive that?
And she's walking around.
Yeah, she's walking around, and I'm thinking the whole time, like, you have an artery in there somewhere.
Not anymore.
Like, how did you not bleed to death? And this
Jeez.
girl had her intestines hanging out and was alive. And I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible to go through that. And then,
Wow.
so horrible, horrible, horrible. With a pocket knife.
It's a
Not a
sharp ass
kitchen
pocket
knife.
knife.
Not
Unless he just
I'm picturing like a little bitty, like 3-inch blade. Did all of this.
Little
so
Swiss
he had
Army
to
knife.
be digging with it, and it's just horrible. That poor girl. But thoughts to her family, her sister especially. That was rough, I'm sure.
especially having to go through it twice
Yeah,
in court.
it's awful to have them do that. That was the case of Stacy and Roy.
Stacy and Roy.
Horrible one. Did it sound familiar after I got into it a little bit?
No, and I think it was the dog reference that got me, and I think that just reminded me of what's his name?
Brian.
No, was it Bundy? Was it Ted Bundy? He used a couple times. He said he had a broken leg, he needed some help, and then a couple other times he said he lost his dog. Can you help me? I think that's where it reminded me of that.
Oh, yeah.
I lost my dog. Can you help me?
He had that yellow bug. It kept breaking down and wanting people to help him.
And he would wear like a cast and drop books and stuff, be carrying books and dropping them. And he had all kinds of little ploys, but one of them I think was a missing dog at one point, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But
Which frightens me, and that frightens me about this is, one, it's local, but it's random. Like, he did not know these girls at all.
No.
He just wandered up to this house and knocked on the door.
I mean, he didn't know who was behind the door,
No.
did he?
No, he didn't know nothing about him.
So it could have been anybody. Could have been a grown man behind that door.
It was just a
And
very random
would he have still
attack.
done this?
I don't know. That's the
Do
thing.
you
I
think
don't know if
maybe
he
when
would've-
it saw a young girl open the door, it
Who knows?
it caused something to pop in his head and he just went for it?
Can you imagine if this is not the first door he knocked on? Like, if he did knock on someone's door and, like, a man answered.
You'd think that would be in the news, though,
and
with
he's
this.
like, oh, you figured someone been like, hey.
Somebody be like, he's like, oh, never mind, and he just walks
Yeah, he's
away.
like, have you seen my dog? And they're like, nope. He goes, okay, thanks, and walks on until he finds a house that has a...
Have you seen my
But
dog?
even then, he obviously doesn't know if there's a dad upstairs or something.
No, which is why he told her to be quiet. But
It's very random. It's just like he just randomly walked up to this house and was like, I'm going to commit a crime today. And that scares me.
it makes you wonder if he thought he was going to commit a crime today.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was a last minute thing.
But he don't have a dog.
True. I guess he did plan something.
So he planned a robbery, maybe, burglary, and then saw her and he went farther than that.
Maybe he did it. It was planning on being a robbery, and the young girl thing just made things change. And then the cops were there before he could finish what he was doing anyway. The robbery and all that other stuff. I don't know. I would have.
Scary either way. It's
I
just
mean, if
scary
he
that
pled
someone
guilty,
just
you'd
walks
think
up
he
to
would
a
have
house.
mentioned why he did this.
Yeah.
But
it's not. Couldn't find anything.
anyway,
And it creeps me out because I'm like just randomly walking up to a house and
Yeah.
knocking. I'm like, don't answer your doors.
No.
Not for nobody. That's why I'm like, leave the package by the door. I know you're in a UPS uniform and in a truck, but I don't trust nobody.
Maybe we should start, like if we DoorDash, maybe we should start saying leave it outside.
Leave it out. I don't
'Cause-
trust nobody. But that was it.
Man.
And we did post TikTok book talk reviews on our
Yep.
series we were on, so go check that out. We're going to post another one about a couple more books.
Yep. Yeah, we had a backlog of books that we've read that we haven't done book talks on, so we gonna do them. We just
keep an eye.
we just
out for
slacking,
that.
I guess.
I guess.
We've got a lot going on. I mean, we had the cruise, we had the Pink concert, wrestling anniversary, all kinds of stuff mixed together. It was just
It's like all birthdays and everything lined
Yeah.
up at the same time.
And then now we're running into Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Yeah.
We had Halloween.
Planning all
And when you
that.
have kids, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays all around there. That all kind of
Nieces, nephews, yeah.
yeah, so it's a busy time of year. So, yeah, it happens. But
Yeah.
we didn't slack too much because, I mean, at least for the podcast, we only missed the 1 week.
He's like, we just missed one class
Just-
session.
we
We're
just
gonna
missed
pass
one.
the final still.
That's right. That's right. I'm going to miss 3 questions on the final. And they all were that day I missed.
That was it.
That's it. Everything else I got, we're good.
We're going to pass in the class.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
So, if you like what you heard or watched, you can follow us, like us, subscribe, all that good stuff on YouTube. I think you can do it on the audio podcast and stuff too. I think there's like a subscribe, like, and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I think so.
I don't really know how all those work.
He says, I don't know.
We're on there,
I'm there.
but
Thumbs up it.
and
do
we
something.
we look to see if how many views and if anybody has said anything or commented.
Comments
But
we can answer.
I think primarily we stick to the YouTube to see how it all works and if it goes through properly. But I know it goes out there everywhere else too. Speaking of, if you don't know how to find us, you just kind of randomly caught up on us somewhere, you can go to our website, which is loveandluminol.com, and it will give you basically where we are: audio, video, social media accounts, everything. So, and there's also a contact form if you want to tell us we suck.
Well, that's it. Serious inquiries only.
Only if we suck.
Criticism.
That's all we want to hear. We don't want to hear you're great, we love you. None of that crap now.
No, I'll take compliments. You can take criticism.
No. I want to hear you suck. You should end this.
Do better.
Don't do this again.
Skip the next 3 weeks of class.
We were so happy you skipped the 1 week. Please skip more.
We thought you died.
We were hoping we'd hear about you on somebody else's case. Oh, no. There's all kinds of stuff we want to hear. But nothing positive, please.
You're going to get so much hate mail.
As far as social media, we are at Love and Luminol pretty much everywhere, except we are not on Twitter/X. Have not, will not.
Have not, will not, don't look for us there.
Everywhere else, though, Facebook, TikTok, even what's that new one?
Snapchat, Instagram.
Snapchat, Instagram. What's the new one?
MySpace.
No.
It will look like MySpace, wasn't it?
We're not there either. I know it's probably randomly still around and nobody uses it, but we are not there.
They made a new one that's
Yeah,
kind of like MySpace, but
No, it was like Twitter.
I don't know.
It's made by Facebook and Instagram. I can't think of it right now.
I don't know. I'm only on Facebook, TikTok, and
I've mentioned it
OnlyFans.
in past episode though. It's what's the name of that damn app? Threads.
There you go.
It's just
About
like
time.
Twitter. It's just like Twitter, but it's not. So we happily use that instead. But yeah, we're at all those places at Love and Luminol. But yeah, hit us up. Watch us on TikTok. We got those book talks.
You got those book talks. It's dark there.
if you've got kids and they want to look at something cool, we've got our kids are all on their own YouTube channel. It's Boys Will Be Boys 5.
And TikTok.
And now they have a TikTok channel as well. So they do random stuff on TikTok. I think they did some intros and haircut video day. So, but they do stuff on there every once in a while as well. So hit them up if you got kids. I'm sure they'll like it if you guys like us. So.
You like his sarcasm? There's a whole group of them.
But that's all I got.
That's it. Sounds good.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Right, see ya.
Bye. P.S. Evidently, I wasn't paying attention earlier because the wife here, when she mentioned social media accounts, she said she was on OnlyFans. Why don't you give the people your username on the OnlyFans?
I'm not on OnlyFans.
Okay, so we cleared that up. She's not on OnlyFans. Don't be messaging us asking what the account is.
Yeah, I was just spinning to see if you'd make a wisecrack comment. You just let it slide. So I'm like, he's going to review this later and be like, what did she say?
Yeah, I would have caught it in editing later. I would have just edited it out. But since she brought it up, I figured I'd cut back to it.
No.
She's not on OnlyFans.
Feet finder. He's like, nope.
They're gonna be out there looking for you on OnlyFans now.
Probably.
You know that, right?
And they'll be sending you screenshots like, is this her? This looks like her. Is this her?
It's not. And if it is, send me the link because this show will no longer be around.
He wants verification.
Anyway, all right. Now it's officially the end of the episode. Peace.
Bye.